Aladdin. The genie was actually pretty good.
Yeah, that was one of the things that we thought that maybe it was kind of hesitant because we love Robin Williams, we love what he did with the genie, but seeing a little fresh take that Will Smith did, it was pretty refreshing. And
it was mostly the trailers. The trailers are what we kind of were conflicted with in terms of how were they going to approach this genie? Was it going to be ridiculous and over the top? Was it going to be too Will Smithy? But yeah, no, they found a good balance when it came to the genie in this movie. Granted, yeah, a lot of the lines and a lot of the moments are exactly the same as they were in the animated movie, and that's just not including the genie. From beginning to end, a lot of it is basically just a live-action version of the things we got in the cartoon. But when it came down to the genie, the fresh take that Will Smith does use when he's playing Will Smith's genie, I enjoyed. We were laughing. Everybody was laughing in the theater. They did a good job with it. It felt like Will Smith trying to be the genie, but not Robin Williams' genie, his own take on the character.
I thought that all the actors and all the characters that were playing did fairly well. I thought Aladdin was great. Jasmine was great.
Yep.
I think that they complemented each other very well in the story. Jafar was there, but I wanted him to be more menacing, but he did pretty good as Jafar in the movie as well. And then, of course, you had the Sultan, and then you have all of the other, like, outside lining characters that kind of came together with the story itself. Of course, a lot of the beats are from the animated movie, and of course, during those times, you're, like, in love with it, and you're just kind of in it, because you're like, yes, I love this, because this is part of the story, part of the movie.
Yep.
There are certain things, however, that I kind of wish that were kind of more grand than they were. But I can understand that they kind of wanted to keep it in reality a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit more down to earth, but still had that element of magic in there as well.
Little bit more magic is all we were wanting in certain scenes.
Yeah.
And however, when it came down to it, like you said, the characters were great. Jafar. Now, Jafar was another character in the trailers that we were kind of curious or at least hesitant about because he was just so calm in his demeanor. Now, granted, he's conniving. He is definitely a crook when you watch it. He's a swindler. But one of those guys, like, you trust him because he is so well composed, but I want maniacal, and that's what we got in terms of the animated series, was a maniacal. This was more conniving. And this guy, he did great when he does kind of lose it, but with his character, granted, like I said, we know the story beat, so certain aspects of that Jafar towards the end of the movie, I wasn't feeling when it came down to what they did with the visual style and how he approached the character. I did not feel menacing from Jafar. I just felt like, oh, this guy's a bad guy, but you know what? We're going to stop him anyways because that's what they do in Aladdin. Agrabah definitely is in turmoil in the animated series, and in this one I just kind of felt like things are going on, and you know what? It's not that dire. We are not in a dire situation in this one compared to the animated series, but that's okay because I had a lot of fun leading up to the moment in the finale. But other than that, all the dance numbers, all the musical renditions that they did in this one, I really enjoyed. It's a mesh and a hybrid of hip-hop and the classic animated series, which there's room for that in this, that I did get behind. It was toe-tapping fun, but it is a style that not everybody enjoys.
Yes, I will say that I did like a lot of the story beats that were happening in the movie because you're just kind of going along with the story. You're like, okay, I know this. Oh, there's a little tweak of this. Okay, that's cool. They kind of changed it a little bit to make it feel more of this story versus doing the animated version. But there is a certain point, too, in the movie where it kind of derails a little bit. I granted the music that they play during that, the song that they play, phenomenal. I love the song. It's just I feel like they put it in a moment where you are getting up, like it's starting to peak, and then it has this moment, and then it kind of derails the story a little bit. So I kind of wish they moved that part maybe somewhere different and then had the story go along after.
It definitely does derail the story, and it is a very intense moment, an intense song with one of the characters, but Other than that, I enjoyed Aladdin. I like the take that they did on this one. Some of the cuts are weird and some of the placement of certain moments are kind of jarring, but other than that, it definitely fits a perfect template for the animated series. There were a lot of kids in the auditorium that were having fun time. There were adults having a good time, and I enjoyed it.
I thought that the music was great, and then also the costumes. The costumes were so beautiful,
Right.
and I loved seeing all the different colors that they used for all of the outfits that she wears. And you can kind of see a little bit in the trailer, but I love that they did keep a hint of that blue teal color that she wore in the original movie,
Right.
and brought it into what she's wearing in this movie as well for Jasmine.
Now, the one thing is that I was excited for going into this movie, but it really wasn't anything much when it comes to the actual movie itself. Alan Tudyk is the voice of Iago. You can't even tell Alan Tudyk's the voice of Iago. They could have gotten some random parrot talking guy, and it would have been fine because they don't add a spin on it. It is literally just a parrot sound talking.
But to be fair, he was Hey Hey in Moana, so...
And he just made chicken sound. So I get it, but now we're just making Alan Tudyk turn into just normal sounds. It's kind of like when George Clooney was the dog in South Park, or Jay Leno was the cat as well. But either way, I enjoyed it. I would give it a 4.5 out of 5 because of everything that they did so right, and just a couple of the things knock it down for me, but other than that, a 4.5 out of 5.
See, for me, even though there are a lot of things that I did enjoy about the movie, I don't know personally if there is replayable to it. I would always kind of like, if I had to choose between this one and the animated, I would always go for the animated instead. So for in that instance, and for a little bit of certain things that I didn't like in the movie, I actually would probably bump it down to a 3.5 out of 5.
3.5. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I enjoyed it. She enjoyed it enough. And what did you guys think of it if you saw it? Let us know down in the comments below. You can also like and subscribe.
And do the thing on our Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Stardust.
All the social networking gin joints, you know where they are. Kick into the party, fuel the party, keep the party going on our Patreon. Gets us where we need to go. We actually have to go to Phoenix Fan Fusion right now. So if you're in the area of Phoenix, Arizona, look for us, say hi. Other than that, thank you so much. And as always,
Now it's time to say goodbye.
this party is over. Bye.